Good afternoon. I'm Dara Bunjon. I'm the food enthusiast here at J Moore Living. I'm a food writer, food stylist, PR maven, and a frustrated baker. Those of you joining us live, drop your comments and questions for my guest or myself into the comment box, and you'll see me turn my head from time to time to check, and we can, have some fun here. Today's guest is Dominick Thompson. Close friends call him Dom. I'm not a close friend, but I think I'm going to call him Dom. He is a leading voice in ethical vegan and no meat movements. His nutritional and wellness programs, Eat What Elephants Eat, customized for people's needs and pocketbooks. We will be talking about his forthcoming cookbook, which comes out January 7th, with the same name, Eat What Elephants Eat. His time in federal prison and his epiphany never again to harm another sentient being has been the basis for what he's doing now with Eat What Elephants Eat. After all the holiday food, gorging oneself, I know that I've done that on all the goodies, is going vegan on your list to do? Let's bring in Dom.
Hey, good morning or good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. We're East Coast. Yeah, absolutely. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
And may 2025 be better than what we expect.
Same, please. Yes, absolutely.
Better than what we expect.
Absolutely.
So, Dom, other than doing the show today, what else is on your plate to do?
For today,
Yeah.
yeah, so I had to take a lot of emails is rolling in now that we're back into the new year. And so we're rolling out a lot of press, as well as communicating with different peoples and different networks with respect to the book rolling out. The last month or so, I did a lot of podcasting, and we're going to be doing some more podcasting. So just a lot of media stuff today, as far as work is concerned.
But I'm the highlight of your day.
You are the highlight of my day, yes.
Sorry, my mouse was in the wrong place. I just wanted to bring it up. I keep another screen here. So, we're going to deal with growing up. I always ask, what was your family table like? Who was the cook? Tell me about your family table.
Yeah, it was me, my mother, and my two older sisters. I was the youngest. That was our family small unit specifically. My mom would cook when she could, when she wasn't working multiple jobs. She was a nurse. She was a nurse working two jobs, one as a pediatric nurse during the daytime, and then one as a nursing home nurse in the evening to keep pretty much the lights on, specifically because I come from humble beginnings, and that served as a bunch of different challenges. But that was our unit, and my mom showed us some ways to cook, and then we, for the most part, um was independent and made our own meals growing up in different capacities.
And that was in Chicago.
Yeah, west side of Chicago
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah. And your mother was your anchor
She
from
was.
everything that I looked at and what she accomplished having you were what, in a one bedroom apartment with four people?
Yeah, our first unit was a one bedroom apartment, and in total is four of us. One bedroom apartment right there on Lockwood and Crystal. And then we eventually transitioned and moved into a two bedroom, one bathroom unit. It's a little bit bigger, but uh, it was still home,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So, I went through not a super deep dive, but I saw that your goal was to go for design, to go to college for design.
Yeah.
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 And
I did advanced architecture in high school. I was pretty gifted at it too. Being from Chicago, legendary architectures like Frank Lloyd Wright and more have an influence on you. This is the Chicago skyline, can have an influence on a lot of creatives and designers. But I was pretty good at architecture and design in high school, as well as football. But I did go to college for design as undergrad before I sadly was indicted for uh, federal charges.
Yeah. And that was drugs,
Yes, yes.
drugs.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Never
Leave
took
it.
them, but I did sell them.
Yeah. I hear there's money in that. Some
Yeah,
little birdie told me. Yeah.
yeah, some
Uh,
money in there. So different opportunities. Sometimes you are placed in an environment and you just want better for yourself and your family, your loved ones. And a kid growing up in the 80s and 90s had limited opportunities for sure. A lot of adversity.
right. So let's take you to federal prison. We're going to take you back to those fond memories of federal prison.
Sure.
Um, what was that aha moment? When was that aha moment uh, about going vegetarian or vegan or
Yeah.
treating, you know, not to harm a living creature? Tell us more about that.
Yeah. It was my first week there. And I just trying to make sense of my why and what was the universe, what was this teaching lesson in hindsight. That wasn't my mindset, but in hindsight, that's what I was trying to seek out answers. Like, what is this learning lessons? Sure, for everything you do, there's consequences, but I felt like there's a deeper meaning. I've never been in trouble with the law in my life. I never had a speeding ticket up to that point, but here I am facing some very serious charges and getting ready to serve some time. Um, and I was trying to make sense of it all. And I am not religious by any means, but I am spiritual, and I do believe in God, and I do believe in a higher energy that's just beyond our comprehension in many capacities. And I prayed that first week in prison in my cell, looking for answers, and everything centered and pointed back to this childhood memory when I was 8 years old. Um, I was at the kitchen table, me and my mom, just us two, and she was feeding me pork chops. Sorry, not pork chops, chicken wings. We had interchangeably pork chops and chicken wings a lot. That was mainly our go-to food that we could really afford. But here was chicken wings, and I was already a finicky eater, and I didn't like chicken wings. And they looked like little bitty arms to me. And I looked at her and I looked at my chicken wings, and I just told her I couldn't eat it and I don't want to eat it. And it's kind of, surprising as well as confusing for a single mom trying to understand why her young growing boy doesn't want to eat meat and what is she's going to do about it. It's not like she can rush to the computer and Google options.
Right.
This is the 80s. uh, so my mom was like, well, then you're not going to eat, but I'm a chip off the old block. She always told me to speak my mind, never back down from no one, including her, within ethical reasons and stuff. But I just told her, then I'm not going to eat. And her intuition led her to believe it's the presentation of the food itself. Here it is, these wings or pork chops are attached to the bone anatomy of that animal, and for kids, we don't give us credit. We kind of like, we know, a lot of kids know sometimes what they're eating, just off of intuition. So she went to the grocery store and bought me fish sticks. So I grew up eating a lot of fish sticks.
Well,
uh,
I understand that. I'm just going to interject real quick. As to that, it brought up a memory to me, whereas I ate a lot of delicatessen. It was, part and parcel, usually on a Sunday. And I would eat tongue
hmm,
until my mother brought it to the table whole.
yeah,
Just no, can't do
yeah,
it.
yeah. You just can't do it at all.
No.
Uh,
But I get what you're saying. It's food is made to not look like what it really was.
Absolutely. yeah, they're food scientists and chefs and presenters and distribution companies and more. All the players involved in the food system, um, by design, have definitely made meat-based proteins or anything sourced from a dead animal. It is a dead animal, dead flesh. Let's just call it what it is, and they
Yeah.
dressed it up to be very aesthetically and appealing. So yeah, that memory came up into my mind, and I received messaging, and it just hit me like a light bulb that if you're an 8-year-old Dominick or an 80-year-old Dominick, if the universe in that moment, the universe is trying to tell me something, if you don't see through it, uh, karma in some capacity will eventually be knocking on your door sooner or later in some type of form, whether it be through your economy or through your professional, personal lives, sickness and health and more. And I think that was my moment where the universe removed me to eventually become who I became after prison. A stand-up dude that just defends animals, that speaks his mind and advocates for human rights as well, and a entrepreneur that's all about making food, specifically plant-based food, accessible and more importantly affordable. Uh,
Right.
so that was my moment, and that was 24 years ago, and I never looked back. I did a hard reset, and I created this mantra in a form of Buddhism that if it requires harm, then no, I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Right. I think if it requires harm, then nah,
Nah.
nah.
Yeah.
It's one of the things, and that was you. Just to bring people up, you went to work for some corporate being medical
Yeah.
being after prison,
Yeah.
and then decided that you wanted to go out on your own with basically no money.
Yeah.
You started a t-shirt company, craziesandweirdos.com.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, to help raise funding. I started this company after coming home and excelling in the healthcare as a healthcare executive. But my platform grew very organically and holistically with social media. And I wanted to, kind of help raise funding and bring awareness to different animal initiatives. So I did start Crazies and Weirdos, and it was at one point the largest vegan clothing company in the world.
Well, the I went to the website, which is still there.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
We're
still have anything? Everything's sold out.
yeah, we're so a lot of things have happened over the post COVID really had a big impact on us.
Right,
Uh,
right.
and I was already focusing on its sister company, my second company, my food company, Eat What Elephants Eat. And a lot of our partnerships and vendors they folded because of COVID and the businesses. And we're not coming back online fully stocked, not till the summer. Right now, that's not our priority. We just want to make sure we had the best partnerships and also bringing everything back in house because we had outsourced and we lost access to a lot of just accessibility to a lot of our different software programs and our vendors, like I said, folded. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It wasn't an easy time for everyone
it
at
was
that time. No, absolutely not. Um, but I mean, I just loved to tell people, what was it? Clark Kent was vegan,
yeah,
saving animals as gangster.
yeah.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. Who was it? Miley Cyrus bought the T-shirt and was seen in it.
Yeah. Miley Cyrus, Ariana Grande, a couple of celebrities supported us over the years without us asking. So yeah, we had a couple of A-listers reach out to us directly.
Let's go to your health and wellness site, which is everybody eat what elephants eat. Why? I mean, I understand elephants are vegan, but it was an interesting title to pick. Was there a lot of thought given to that, or people won't forget it?
That slogan was something I created during my speaking engagements, whether I was speaking at universities or conferences and more. I would use as a visual aid the almighty African elephant as a symbol to humans, because humans are visual creatures. But just educating people biologically, the largest and strongest mammal and land animal in this world is vegan, and it's elephants. They eat nothing but plants specifically. And during that time, because a lot of the toxic masculinity was happening with be a lion and the carnivore attitude. So that was like that was my counter to that specific influence that was happening online. And I was just telling people eat plants or eat what elephants eat. And I created that slogan, put it on. It was one of Crazies and Weirdos t-shirts. It was the #1 selling shirt from Crazies and Weirdos and in the world. We sold over probably it was over 5,000 units just in our first quarter of launching that shirt. So yeah, that slogan is borrowed and trademark of Crazies and Weirdos, and then we made it the sister company, Eat What Elephants Eat.
Right. And I want to tell people information on reaching Dom and his site, Eat What Elephants Eat, and the cookbook that is coming out is all up in the comments section. But you can find out, go to kitchen.eatwhatelephantseat.com, which is his health and well-being program that is offered out, that is customized. People fill out an online survey, and programs are set up custom. Tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, we created so this company, again, this is my food company. My second company is my baby. Obviously, I named it after this incredible book, Eat What Elephants Eat. But it's a website where you have access to over literally thousands of recipes. We curated it, me and our RDs, registered dietitians. It's a subscription-based model where we have over like 10,000 subscribers and growing. But you can remove up to 700 allergens, and we'll compute and create this meal plan specifically for you and your loved ones. Whether you have 5 minutes in the kitchen or 50 minutes in the kitchen, we'll get you to the next stop. So yeah, it's a great program for everyone.
It looks, and I like the idea that, it's also developed for people that are on a budget, which is becoming harder, especially with the cost of everything going up. So another obstacle. One of the interesting things, and people can't tell because you're keeping your apartment cool today because you have this big husky and you keep it cool, that you're wearing the jacket, but you work out.
Yeah.
You're a bodybuilder, triathlon. And one of the things that came about was people couldn't believe that this was all done on a vegan diet.
Yeah. Yeah. I still get people to this day, especially if I'm wearing something on my chest that says something about veganism, whether it be Eat What Elephants Eat, or any type of shirt that you can. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, I had on a shirt that just has in big block writing tofu. And guys come up to me in the gym all the time, ask me like, are you vegan? Or like, and I tell them, yeah. And I tell them for how long. So it's still kind of surprising that people can't believe that you can have size, strength, and thrive in this life without having animal protein. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, that's what the elephant proves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I prove too. So
right, absolutely. What is your definition of ethical veganism? Why isn't it just veganism?
Yeah, because veganism in general has a lot of sub communities in it. Specifically, you have those that are vegan for just health reasons, those that are vegan for environmental reasons, those that are vegan for animals, and more. But when you add an ethical component to it, for me, it just lets one know when it comes to my belief system, going back to my mantra, if it requires harm, then I don't have anything to do with it. Meaning, I am in this lifestyle, and I started this lifestyle because I didn't believe animals are here as dominion for us, but here to coexist for us. And that also goes with other humans and life forms where everything I do is ethical. I do it with good intention, and I'm being very intentional in any choices I make as a consumer and more. And it's all intersectional, and it's just not with respect to animals, but it's just how you treat one another. It's centers all around kindness. That's what it really means. Kindness.
Okay, and then we sort of touched on it, no meat athletic movement.
Yes.
We're back to that people can build and sustain extra strength being vegan.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, there were a couple different stories. There was one on Thrillist.
Yes. Yeah, they did an article on me.
Yes, it was very nice. 5 ways you can stop shouldering yourself to pursue lifestyles choices that benefit body and mind. And you came up with they broke it down into rethink obstacles as opportunities, be authentically you, get familiar with your future lifestyle, remember to pace yourself, and don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
And these are all steps that you've gone through.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are stuff that we, in different wording, that we also communicate in the book. We help people identify their why with respect to the book. That's what's important, to find out your why you want to take this journey into this lifestyle, or anything that you want to change or do new that's to your lifestyle. It's important to understand the why, because that's going to help you sustain that new lifestyle going forward.
Right. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty why you're here and why I was lucky enough to get you to do the show is your book, which is What Elephants Eat. It offers 80 simple vegan recipes and meal plans for vegan lifestyle.
Yeah.
Tell us more. I mean, I see some of the recipes, and actually, we have one of your recipes that is going to go up on Jamar Living's website probably tomorrow
Okay.
with a photograph. But you're saying, yeah, I mean, these are not outlandish dishes. These are pancakes, buffalo cauliflower, uh, lentil sloppy joes. These are, spaghetti and beet balls, mega tofu BLT. And even for those people who are going to like Vegan Mondays, it's a great book. You
Yeah.
don't have to commit full time, but if you want to dip your toes in the water, as they say,
Yeah.
it's a great book. And it's also semi um, biographical
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a hybrid book, but we talk about, again, my why and my journey to going from humble beginnings to what I do now, and why I stopped in prison. But one of the beautiful things about the book, almost every recipe that we present is nostalgic, where we'll give you the story behind it on how we veganized that. For example, my aunt's lasagna, how we veganized that, to my mom's potato salad, or grandmother's potato salad, to my other auntie's green peppers. Those are foods that I kind of grew up on in different capacities, and give you a little bit of that nostalgic feel to it.
Like I'm saying, they're recognizable dishes. It's not
Yeah.
something outlandish.
Yep.
Um, what I call Frankenstein burgers. I mean, that's not a pure food. I it's has a lot of things in it that are probably not one would want in a vegan lifestyle, but yet, we're seeing so many mock cheeses, mock burgers, mock this. your feelings.
My feelings on it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, again, I talk about that in the book. I'm a big supporter and advocate for uh, what you're describing as mock. I describe as transitional products. Okay, because
Okay.
at the end of the day, animals don't care how you go vegan and what you eat.
Right.
Know what you eating now, and neither do I and any other ethical person specifically. So yeah, some of those products on in the stores, they're in summary, they're not going to be sustainable. But if they're going to help someone
Transition.
transition and also make that connection and just fulfill that palate in that moment, sure, yeah, but they're not sustainable. But they're also, but I will I will say this, two things I want to say about that, because they get so much, there's so much propaganda when it comes to uh, plant-based foods or mock meats being demonized heavily in the media. I've been in these labs where these foods have been engineered personally. They're not as highly processed or dangerous as media or social media is trying to push with that agenda at all. They're definitely better than the alternative, which is carcinogens,
Right.
with respect to animal protein and products like that. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, they're good transitional products, but like anything else, you always want to eat whole plant based. And get to making those chickpea burgers, so black bean burgers, those beet burgers, and we have those recipes in the book specifically.
Right. And just remind people, you can't forget, eat what elephants eat. The website is a little different, kitchen.eatwhatelephantseat.com. The new cookbook is coming out January 7th, but you're not getting out of here without answering my little questions that I ask at the end of the show.
Okay.
It's always interesting. I
Sure.
never know. Um, if you could go back and give your 18-year-old self a piece of advice, what would it be?
That's a good question. Focus on you first before you focus on anyone else, and that even includes loved ones.
And that's sort of something that I believe in, because if you take care of yourself, then you can take care of others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would have made different decisions, and I probably wouldn't have served time if I wasn't thinking about others.
Yeah. Okay. Um, what's the best bite you've had all week?
Food.
Food.
I yeah, but I guess, yeah, you're right. Bite. You never know these days what people refer to when it comes to bite. I it's the truth. The best bite. I mean, oh man, so many amazing foods out there that I have in the past week. But I had some sauteed chickpeas with a Caesar salad that I made from tahini dressing, drenched with some hemp seeds and avocados and sun-dried tomatoes. Very good.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah.
What two things must be in your fridge?
Mm. Mineral water or sparkling water, specifically, um, and kale. Always, I always got tons of kale in my fridge. Tons. Like I have a whole level of just greens and
Okay.
veggies. Kales and celery. Yep.
All right. Your ultimate culinary fail.
Mm, that's a good one. Wow, that's a really good one. I would say, wow. Let me think. I I would say I had a lot of failures, but ultimately the biggest one I would say I haven't had it yet, and but I feel like it's around the corner. If that's the answer.
That's called copping out. That's
Oh no, I had some failures, but the ones where I'm like, oh shit, this is a little bit out of my league, or this didn't turn out right, specifically. Yeah, yeah.
Look, it happened.
You know what? I got one. I got one.
Okay.
My first time ever making vegan mac and cheese, which was like, I don't know, close to, that was like 12 years ago. I was living in my New York apartment, and I made it from carrots and potatoes and some vegetable broth. But I didn't have the food processors, and blenders wasn't as powerful then, for one. For two, I didn't have all the right spices, and wasn't really big into nutritional yeast at all too as well. So I missed out on that, and it was a failure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for coming through. If you wake up tomorrow morning with a new talent, what would the new talent be?
Mm. Singing. Yeah, singing. I have a lot of respect for those that can just sing, and I love a beautiful voice. So yeah, I would love to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most popular response to that.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I thought I was being original. Yeah.
Well, I tell this story quite often and people get sick with it. I can't carry a tune.
Yeah. That makes two
Just
of us.
not happening. And in high school, many years ago, at least 10 years ago, well, go to graduation, they were singing When You Walk Through a Storm. Now, that's not an easy song to sing. And they tested, and understand 750 my graduating year, they tested everyone. They looked at me and they said, just move your lips. Harmed me, that I just wouldn't sing anywhere.
Oh man,
Isn't that horrible?
that's cruel.
That is cruel. All right, so everybody's heard this story a million times. But singing, I now sing it in my aqua class because they play the oldies, and I go, I don't care, because everybody's like 75 and up, and half of them are deaf, so they don't hear me anyhow. Um, uh, let's see. What didn't I ask you that I probably should have?
That's a good question too. I guess what is something people will be surprised to learn about this book? And I would say it's more than it's a book. We spent 2 years really. In fact, we eliminated, I think, up to 100 pages of the book.
Wow.
Wealth. It's just a wealth of information, and we can say that for part two. But it's such an incredible book that you will walk away armed with so much knowledge and insight when it comes to this lifestyle. So yeah.
Well, Dom, this has been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
As I said at the start, may 2025 be way better than what we expect. Much success with the book, and Eat What Elephants Eat is already a success and growing, so people check it out. I think your video said at some point you have 5,000 recipes. So
A lot of recipes.
A lot of recipes.
Not 5,000, but over 3,000. Yeah, I didn't hit the 5,000 mark.
Oh, okay. Then maybe,
Yeah.
I'm as half deaf as my poor people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, hey, we can.
Hey, we're having, let's,
that number up a little bit, yeah.
yeah, have it up there. All the best. Thank you for joining us, and everybody, eat what elephants eat.
Thank you. Appreciate you
Thank
all.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, everyone. Next week's guest will be Chef Wesley Jean Simon. Born in Haiti, Wesley's journey into the culinary world started at his grandmother's kitchen. Through every plate, Chef Simon continues to honor his Haitian heritage while nurturing a new generation of food lovers. I don't know much about Haitian cuisine, so I am food curious. Hope you will be as well. So join us next week as we learn more about griot, germot soup, and I know I'm killing these names, Diri ak Dijon, and what the other influences are in Haitian cuisine. So join us next week with Chef Wesley Jean Simon. Feel free to reach out to me via my email, which is food@jmoreliving.com, or my Instagram is @Dara Cooks, or on Facebook, I have a page called the Food Enthusiast. And also, if you go to YouTube and you put in J More Living and the Food Enthusiast, there's actually a podcast there, and you can see all the episodes there as well. You can sign up at J More Living for a free This is the Week in Baltimore Eating newsletter. This comes out usually every Tuesday with recipes and what's going on in food, not only here in Baltimore, but just the food newsletter. It's free. Go to jmoreliving.com, go up to the menu where it says connect and fill out the form. All shows are immediately archived in video form on Jmore Living's Facebook page and jmoreliving.com. We truly appreciate it when you share our show with friends and family. Feel free to go back into our archives and enjoy past shows. As I end the show all the time, may your plates always, always remain full. Hope to see you next week.